Hello, hello friends. This is Jayan Sonkar working as assistant professor, Department of Information Technology, Tulsiramji Gaikwad Patel College of Engineering and Technology. So today we are going to learn about hardware and software concept of distributed system. So we will start from hardware concept of distributed system. In that, the different organization of memory and use of memory as the distributed level. So here shared memory is given and private memory is given. In shared memory, where P is the processor, you can see in shared memory P is connected through a link and memory is connected via link also. So memory which is available at the remote location, but it is connected through link to the processor. So processor can use the memory which is shared on the link, and this link will able to provide connections and the memory as it is distributed over the network, and it is used by the processor. So this is what the one concept. And second concept in the shared memory is that is the switch base, where memory is connected through the switch to the processors, and processor can use that shared memory. And this is what the physical structure hardware concept of the distributed system. Here on the right hand side, private memory is available, and that private memory is connected to the processors of that particular machine, and that machine is connected to other processes through a network, and that other processes are also having their memory, and that is private memory, and they are also connected to the network. So we can say that all the processes are connected in the network and they have their own memory, that is called a private memory. So through that process we can share, we can access the memory of that processes. So on the top of this shared memory and primary memory, the diagram is given. It is the bus based memory sharing, and at the bottom it is switch based memory sharing. So in private memory sharing, all the processes are connected through switch, and they can share their memory and processes at the same time. Then we will see about the multiprocessors. Here in multiprocessors, all the CPUs with their caches are connected in the bus or in the network, and they are connected with one memory which is available in the network, and all the processes can use the cache of its own, but the memory of the memory which is available at the network. So this is about the bus based multiprocessor, where all the CPUs with their caches will connected in the bus, and there is one single memory which is available for both the CPUs which are connected through this bus in the network. So it will be very helpful to save the memory and to use the single memory by both the processors at the same time. Then we will see the concept of multiprocessor again. So here there is a two concept, that is the crossbar switch concept and omega switching network. So in figure A, there are the corresponding switch which are connected through the processor and to the memories also. So here P is nothing but the processor or CPU we can say, and that all the processes are connected to the memories which are connected to a cross point with all the processes. Means all the processes can use this shared memory, which are individual shared memory which are available at the cross point switch, and it is available for all the processes. Means one process can use all the memories which are available in the network, and then we can see switch cross switching process, switching memory technique to share the memory to the processes. So here in diagram B you can see that all the processes are connected through switches, and memory is also connected, memory are also connected through switches, and all the memories which are available at the remote location, which are available at the distributed form, can be shared with the CPU by using the switching technique. So diagram A is for the crossbar switching, and diagram B is for the omega switching network. So this is what about the multiprocessors. Now we will see the homogeneous multi-computer system. So in figure A there is a grid multi-computer system where all the processes with their memory are connected as a grid, and through that grid the connections will be provided, and they are connected through grid. Means the data from one machine, one process, one processor will go through the another, and they will share their memory accordingly, and they can do their work as according to the distributed system. Then in next B diagram the hypercubes are there. Means at the edge of each cube there is a point, and we can say it is a memory, and that memory is shared accordingly by using that hypercube. All the cubes are linked with each other, and they share their memory with that cubes which are connected in the network. So this is about the homogeneous multi-computer, where the computer are having their own CPU, own memory, but they are shared amongst themselves through the hypercubes. Now this is what about the hardware concept. Now we will move toward the software concept of the distributed system, where we are going to study about the DOS, that is the distributed operating system, network operating system, and middleware. Here distributed operating system is tightly coupled operating system for multiprocessor and homogeneous computers. Then the main goal of DOS is hide and manage the hardware resources. Then NOS, that is the network operating system, loosely coupled operating system for heterogeneous multi-computer. LAN and WAN offer local services to the remote client. Then middleware, additional layer atop of NOS implementing the general purpose services, provide distributed transparency. Here we will see the uniprocessor operating system. In this diagram, separating applications from operating system code through microkernel. Here you can see that user application is there, and memory module, process module, and file module are connected to the user applications, and there is a microkernel, then hardware is there. So first of all the user application will connect through the memory module, module processor, process module, and file module. Then that application, user application, will connect to the microkernel, and the application, user applications having the system call OS interface, and it is having the user mode. At the top of this diagram, user mode, where user application, memory module, process module, and file modeling will be done at the user mode. Then kernel mode, kernel, that user applications, user mode, whatever operations will be performed in user mode, that will be connected to the operating system by using the kernel mode, and then it is connected to the hardware to execute the processes which are given by the user applications. There is no direct data exchange between the modules will be there, so every module will execute individually to the data which is given by the user application. Here the general structure of multi-computer operating system is given. So here in this machine, more machines, number of machines will be connected with the distributed operating system services. Distributed applications will connect to the distributed operating services, and then it will connect to the network. Here we can see that machine A, machine B and machine C, both the machines are connected to the network having their own operating system, but the distributed application will work with that machines, and they are commonly work by using the applications of distributed system. At the same time, distributed operating system will work for both the machines, and they are connected to the kernel part of the distributed system, means to the operating system. Then it will connected to the network, and they are communicate among themselves by using the networking. Then microcomputer operating system. Here again we will see the concept of microcomputer operating system. We have the sender and we have receiver. So on the left hand side there is a sender, and right hand side there is a receiver. So this diagram represents the alternative of blocking and buffering in message passing. Sender will send the message which is given by S1, then that is called a synchronization. That dark black dot represent the S1, that is the synchronization of message which is sent by the sender. That synchronization represented by the S1. Then it will go to the sender buffer. From that sender buffer it will go to the network, and that synchronization of the message from the buffer, sender buffer, that is given by the synchronization ES2, and then it will reach to the network. It will pass through the network, and through that network only it received at the buffer side, buffer of the receiver side, and it is represented when it enter into the receiver's buffer. So that synchronization is represented by the S3, and it will received by the user application. So that is given by means of the S4. So this is the alternative for the blocking and buffering in message passing of the distributed system. Then multi-computer operating system, some other concepts that we will see. So synchronization point, send buffer, then reliable communication guaranteed. So block sender until buffer not full, block sender until message sent, block sender until message received, block sender until message until message sent. So first is block sender until buffer not full, send buffer yes. If buffer is not full, then send buffer says yes, reliable communication guaranteed no necessary. Block sender until message sent, there is no for the send buffer. If block sender until message sent, block sender until message received, send buffer having no, means we don't need the send buffer. Reliable communication guarantee is not necessary. Then block sender until message received, block sender until message received delivered. And for received message to deliver the message, it required the reliable communication. This is what we represent, the relation between blocking, buffering and the reliable communication is required or not. Then we will see the distributed shared memory concept of the distributed system. Here we can see in A diagram A, pages of address space distributed among 4 machines. Pages of address space distributed among the 4 machines having their own CPU, that is CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3 of machine 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the pages are distributed in these 4 machines. So each machine is having their own memory, and accordingly that memory is shared among the CPUs. So we can see that shared global address space, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 15. The shared global addresses with these 4 machines means we can say that pages of addresses space distributed among 4 machines. So machine 1 will get 0, 2, 5 and 6 pages. Machine 2 will get 1, 3, 6, 8 and 10. Machine 3 will get 4, 7, 11, 12, 14, and machine 3 will get 15, 13 and 15. So, and second diagram says that situation after CPU 1 reference page number 10. So here in diagram A you can see that there is no page number 10 is available in CPU 1, but after the situation where the CPU references for page number 10 and it will received. So page number 10 was previously available with CPU 2, now it is available for CPU 1. So it is also possible the resources can be relocated from one location to another location while we are talking about the distributed shared memory. So this is what the advantage of the distributed shared memory concept of the distributed system. Then diagram C represent the situation if the page number 10 is read only and replication is used. So if we are using the replication but the copy of read only page is available with the CPU 1, then it is also possible, means CPU 1 can read only page of reference page number 10, but CPU can do the changes in that page. So this is also possible. So in diagram C you can see that there are page number 10 at both the CPU 1 and CPU 2 and they are connected through the network, but in CPU 1 page number 10 is having the read only page, but in CPU 2 it is possible to do changes in that. So here we can see false sharing of page between 2 independent processes. So here machine A and machine B want to share the page. So machine A and machine B is having the sharing of pages. So false sharing that we are going to see, both the machine are connected to the network. Machine A is having page A, page P, and machine B is also having the page P. Both the side having the code, like on machine A, code using A is connected to A, and here 2 independent data items are available at machine B, that is A and B. That page is P and code using B is given here at machine B. So we can see that the link which is given from machine A to machine B and machine B to machine A, that is page transfer when B needs to be accessed, page transfer when B need to be accessed, B need to be accessed, and page transfer when A need to be accessed. So this is what the page sharing amongst the 2 machines, that is machine A and machine B. Here on machine A the coding will be done by using the A, that is the page P is having two things, that is A and B. So A is belong to machine A and B is belong to machine B. So this is what the transfer of data, transfer of memory from one machine to another machine. Whenever it is required by machine A or B, it will be transferred accordingly. Then we will talk about network operating system. General structure of networking system. The network operating system is given on the screen. Machine A, machine B and machine C are connected through have their own network operating system, and they are connected to the kernel. Here distributed application program are working with all the machines, means all machines are having the distributed applications, and they are working with that applications of a distributed system, and both connected through the network. Here we are using the network operating and distributed system is working on the network operating system. Network operating system is nothing but the operating system which is used to handle the resources, which is used to handle the devices which are available or connected through the network, and they are coordinate among all the machines. That's why network operating system is useful if we are using it in distributed system. So concept of distributed system is like that: client 1, client 2 doing request to the server, and server will reply accordingly to the client. So here file server is connected to client 1 and client 2 through the network, and disk on which shared file system is stored, which is available with the file server. And when client will reply, so network operating system will work for this, and accordingly so network operating system will give reply to the clients, and they will get the data. So here we can see different client may mount the server in different places. Here you can see that client 1 and client 2 is given in client 1 and client 2 is given. Client 2 having their private memory, and there are two servers, that is server 1, server 2. First server 1 is for games and server 2 is for work. So client 1 want to access games and work server. So we can say that for client 1 both the server are mounted at different places, and accordingly that client will use the distributed application and find out the server wherever it is located, and accordingly it will get the reply of the request which is given by client, and accordingly the client 2 will work. It will send the request, and again it will ask for the server to give the data as a request, reply to the request which is given by the client. And this client is having the private. So here we can see the positioning middleware. Here the general structure of middleware is given, where again machine A, machine B and machine C are connected among themselves through a network, where the distributed applications installed in all the machines, and accordingly they are connected to the middleware services, and network operating system of each machine will work to connected with the middleware services, which are the services of the distributed system, and accordingly they will work, and they are coordinated among all the machines which are connected in the distributed system, and they are using to give the output to the users. Then we will see comparison between the systems. Here distributed operating system, that is multiprocessor, multi-computer, network OS and middleware based OS. So Athens, according to Athens, we will make the comparison. Degree of transparency in distributed system, multiprocessor very high, then multi-computer very high, high, then network operating system degree of transparency is very low, it is low, and middleware based OS high. Same OS on all nodes, yes, yes, no, and yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, no. Number of copies of OS, distributed system, multi-processor required 1, multi-computer required n, then network OS required n, and middleware based OS required n. Basis for communication are shared memory in multiprocessor distributed OS. In multi-computer distributed OS, it is messages. So we can do the communication through shared memory in multiprocessor distributed OS, through message in multi-computer distributed OS, and using files in network OS, and model specific by using model specific in the middleware based OS. Scalability of distributed OS, multiprocessor distributed OS is having no scalability. In multi-computer distributed OS, it is having the moderately scalability, and the network OS having the scalability, and middleware based OS having varies of the scalability. Openness in distributed multiprocessor distributed operating system, openness is close. Again, multi-computer DS distributed operating system, openness is close. The network OS having openness is open, and middleware based OS having openness is open. A comparison between multiprocessor operating system, multi-computer operating system, and network operating system and middleware based distributed system is given by this chart. So this is all about the software and hardware concept of the distributed system, which is part of the subject distributed system. Thank you very much.